today's webinar is Systemize Power Play, Maps, and Managing Install Teams. I'm excited for this one. We're trying something a little bit different. We get a lot of feedback of wanting to hear directly from customers and fabricators and how they're using our product. So today, like joining us, we have Kari and Kelley from Humboldt Countertops. So you guys can wave, everyone can see you. And then we also have Angela from our support team, who's actually going to be going through a demo. So this is how we're going to structure the webinar. We're going to start off with just an introduction of Kari and Kelley. I have a couple questions for them that we're going to walk through. And then at the end, Angela is actually going to go through just some of the key features of maps and managing install teams that you might not be aware of. At the bottom of your screen, so I know you might see a poll displayed. This will be displayed throughout the course of the call. So if this is just getting a little bit more information about how you're using Systemize today, or just some of the challenges that you're facing with managing install teams. But at the bottom of either your web browser or Zoom, there should either be a Q&A icon, or if it's not showing up, there should be a more icon you can click. And then there's like a Q&A tab. So this will just you can submit any questions that you have, either for Kari and Kelley or Angela throughout the webinar. We may not get to all of them, so we will follow up with you via email, like directly. So if you do have any questions, just populate those throughout the call. We'll try to see if we have some time at the end to go over them. And yes, I see someone may have like raised their hand on the call. Unfortunately, like I can't like call on you, but if you want to just type into the Q&A box, we'll be able to see that. So that being said, let me just stop my share here. And we will start off with Kari and Kelley. First of all, thank you for joining us today in this Zoom.
Yeah, thanks for
Um, yeah, so just I would love to just, for the audience, just give us a little bit more information just about yourself, about your shop. I think you guys have a really exciting and compelling story. And so we'd love to hear a little bit more from you.
All right, great. Well, we did take over, we're second generation owners of a countertop fabricating shop. So we did take that over from our dad, started running it about 12 years ago, and just recently completed the financial purchase of the corporation. But Kelly and I have been running that since for about 12 years. Her background includes like business management. She worked in custom cabinets, and she runs the shop and really the technical aspects of things. And then I worked in the corporate world for about 20 years, managing teams, evaluating workflows and rolling out training and so forth. So I manage sales, marketing, and really people-oriented processes. So it's a good fit for us. And what do you think?
Yeah, I was just going to say we sort of have divided the roles based on our skill sets and what we're each comfortable with. So that part, people always ask, how do you work with your sister so well? Well, we have divided responsibilities. So we know how to stay in our lane.
Yeah, I was going to say that's like important because I know a lot of people would not be able to work with their siblings.
Yes,
So,
yes. We run, I just wanted to mention too, we've spent the last few years working on the EOS management system. It's the entrepreneurial operating system on how we're running our business. And that's really helped us define our roles and know who's responsible for what. So we don't have, the stepping over the line type of issues. So.
yeah, that's great. And then maybe just like walk us through just so we can kind of like get to understanding like how you are using like technology. When did you first start using Systemize and what did that look like?
I remember, can I take that one? I remember going to an ISFA meeting, and Moraware was demonstrating. And the feature that I loved the most was being able to drag the appointment to another day. You know how schedules change every day. The old system we were using was very clunky, and you had to go into the job and change a lot of things in order to change the date. So just the fact that you could drag and drop was a selling point for me on the software. So yeah, we did have a scheduling program, but like I said, it was very clunky, and just seeing the demo on Moraware, I just knew it was going to be easy to implement and start right away and help us out.
Yeah, and I would say when we started, we were pretty much just using the scheduling. We purchased all of the inventory, estimating, and scheduling. So she had started working with the scheduling because that was kind of the most critical piece that we move a
Right.
lot. We were looking for a solution for. And when one of my large projects when I first started was really to figure out then how to move our estimating system from one to the other. So, into the CounterGo program. But the scheduling was the first thing that we used.
Got
And
it. And then, oh,
Mhm.
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it really helped us be able to, 'cause we started, there was just 5 employees when we took over the business. And right now we just hired 2 more. We're at 11. And we've also been able to keep up with that work. And I think we've tripled the gross income over the same time frame. So it really was a version of taking in small business, they have one templater, one fabricator, one installer, one shop that's all we had. And so trying to get it to that next level where you could be efficient and really create space to hire more people, that's where we really needed something to be where everybody could be on the same page and really get a visual of what we were doing every day.
Yeah, no, that's exciting and congrats on the growth. I think then we'll kind of like transition into the topic that, everyone's here for. So managing your crews and like just like how you've scaled. I think it'd be really beneficial to know like what does your day-to-day look like, or maybe how has that changed? And like how has the maps feature or systemize overall helped with that?
Do you want to take that for scheduling?
Yeah, scheduling is falls under my domain. So I'm realizing as the owner of a business that I need to start shedding some responsibilities. It's hard to do everything. And so the the first thing I decided that I'm shedding off is the scheduling part of it. And just being able to set up your calendar to see the different where the different crews are, where we're measuring or templating, where we're installing, being able to track distances traveled, mapping out the routes, and knowing where everyone's going to be at the same time is crucial to being able to run the business efficiently. So,
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Sorry, I was just seeing some things coming through. So we will have like some questions after. This is really great, and I think we did talk about too. So, the fact that you were kind of like got your process like ironed out also gives you the ability to kind of like whether that's delegate it to other people or like even like hire. I think that's really exciting.
Yeah,
So
I would say getting it into that system made it to where it's not in somebody's head. Like, so when you are structuring more where with your scheduling or the calendar, setting up your views, you're getting so everybody can see the view that they want. And we kind of start instead of one person having to know everything, like with the calendaring and the color coding, and I think we're going to talk about views later, it's easier for people to filter down to what do they need to be aware of for the day. And so that tailoring of the views and really going from one person driving everywhere to having multiple crews it was important for us to remain really efficient and make sure we weren't, we still want to streamline it even more.
Yeah, awesome. Well, this is super helpful. Kari and Kelley are going to stay on this call as we like go through the demo. But Angela, who's from our support team, is going to start to like walk through a little bit of what they like talked about and then kind of go through some of those features. So I will now turn it over to Angela.
Hello, everybody. So yeah, we wanted to talk about the mapping feature today, and as well as share a few views that you can create to help with staying organized within your shop and improve efficiency. Today, I'm going to be really specific. I'm going to just show you things on my install crew, but you can follow this same process for other activities as well, like templating, etc. So for some of you that have Systemize already, you'll know that the maps feature overall is not new, but we've recently made an improvement in how it functions. And that was just based off of the feedback we received from our customers. Customers shared that they wanted the ability to see if they were scheduling their day as efficiently as possible. And while you were able to show the location of activities for the day on a single map, now you can also create a starting location based off where your crew will start their day. So this can be the shop address or a specific address for each person or crew. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we'll walk through that together. Sure that I Okay, can you see this? I might have to finagle this because I don't see entire screen. So my pop-up later might not show up. So we'll kind of look through that. So we'll see here in a second. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so to set that up, to set up your location, your start location, that belongs in your settings. So we go into settings, calendar, and then map. And so I have a default start location here for my shop, but you'll just hit that edit symbol, and this is where you would put in your shop location. Pretty simple. Hit save. You can also map it here. It'll show the location. And if you need to delete it, you can do so here. But this is where you will put in your shop start location. It will save, and that's that. So if you wanted to go and do an assignee start location, you'll go back into settings, job, and then assignees. And again, I have set up a location here for my installer, Katie, but you can have various different locations. So to do so, you would just go into this map start location column and click the plus add start location, and you would put in their specific start location. So this works well if you have an assignee or a crew that starts from home and not the shop, and you want to map that later on. You'll see that information pop up separately. So really basic. You'll also see that if, Katie has a color code of purple, and so that will show up on the map. And that's helpful to kind of distinguish who's doing what, and we'll look at that here in a minute. So that is setting up the addresses for the location. What does that look like on the calendar? So if we go into our calendar here, you could see my view. I have it set up, installs by assignee for the next 5 days. And today, Wednesday, the 25th, I have install crew 1 and my installer, Katie. They both have jobs set, and they have their addresses. So I want to map these out. So if I click map at the top, it's going to have me choose the day. I want it for today. I want to show just my install activities, just to make this simple. And my install activities assigned to who. Down below here, you'll see it's going to ask me where I want to start this location. Do I want to use the assignee or the shop default address? Or do I want to enter a custom address? So typically you're going to use either the assignee or shop default, but maybe you guys stopped for lunch and you're going to be, starting from there. You can always add an address here as a custom address. It's a one-time address. It will not affect what you've set up in your system already. But for purposes of this, I'm just going to use the assignee and shop default and then hit OK. And then this will populate the map. So you'll see both of my installers. My install crew 1 is starting location. Here is the A. You see it's color coded by what I've chosen for their assignee color. And their route is color coded as well. So currently, it's saying that the travel time is about 19 minutes for install crew 1, 10-mile distance. And you can scroll in and out. You need to see things better. For my installer Katie, you'll see right here, her starting location is B. It's also color coded purple. It's overlapping here, so you're not really seeing it too much, but you can see it's going here. Travel time 28 minutes, 18 miles, a little over 18 miles to her destination. So super helpful to see this color coded out, broken out by installer. One of the things that's helpful I found is they have this eyeball here. So maybe you have multiple routes here and it's getting a little crazy to look at. You can hide them one by one if you'd like. So for here, I'll hide Katie. So I'm just looking at my install crew 1 route. I can hide both. But that's helpful to kind of show like who's doing what. If I have them both have them here, you can see they're kind of overlapping the route. So this isn't super efficient. A is passing the start location for the other installer. And so to me, if I'm doing the scheduling, I'm going to think, okay, this could be better. This isn't super efficient. And what's great about this is you could just go back into the calendar. It does give you a separate pop-up, so you don't have to close out of this, which is nice. But if you go back into the calendar and you look at today and you say, I'm going to switch these because they're actually closer if I switch. So you could do it one of two ways. You can click on the activity itself and switch who it's assigned to here. I could do that here. Or like Kari and Kelley was mentioning earlier, one of the great things about the calendar is you can drag appointments and activities. So I can just go down here and I can switch this. So I'll switch this and then I'll move this one up. Simply like that. And then if I go back into my mapped address and refresh this, you'll see that it's switched up the route. So now they're not overlapping any longer. Their routes are more efficient. Travel time's gone down for both of them. And yeah, makes it really easy to schedule and move things around if needed. So that's the mapping feature. If I go back into my calendar here, I just wanted to show, so I did set this up, installs by assignee for the next 5 days. If you wanted to have times on here, because I don't, the way that I have it set up is currently assignee by day. I did create a different one if you wanted to see by time as well. So you have, your install crews listed here and then by time up here. So there's a lot of different things that you can do utilizing views, customizing, things like that. But just to make it real simple, this is a clean version where I've displayed the information that I want to see here. The address, any installer information. There is a dog on the premise here. Just real high level information that I want them to see. Another view on the jobs view side, very similar. So it's going to show you the account and the job, also the install information, job issues I have listed here as well. But I've also listed my fabrication date. So sometimes I want to see, when did I do the fabrication for this project? In a job view, you can display the dates of other activities, which you cannot do currently in the calendar. So this is a helpful view to save. If you want to add additional information to the view right on hand, you don't have to look for it. You can display it. Side note, if you also have CounterGo, you can display order information if you'd like. So material, edge, different things from the order can be displayed here as well. So creating as many views as you'd like, super helpful. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about with help for kind of managing the installers is the activity packets. And I don't know if you guys are using activity packets, Kari and Kelley, if that's super helpful for you. But basically what it is a packet of forms that you have within the job that you can select and then create a packet for. So you just simply hit print and all of that information will print out for whoever you're printing it out for. So in this case, I'm going to show you what an installer packet will look like. And so you can get to it a couple of different ways. From the job view, if you click on the job and then the activity, so install, you'll see a print icon. And then you'll choose the packet. So I'm going to do my install packet. And I hope this shows up because I don't know. Can you see this?
No, it's not coming.
Okay, let me see if I can adjust this. Hold on. Sorry, didn't have me the ability to share my whole screen. So I'm just going to do this really quick so that you can see. Can you see that now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, it worked. Okay, let me hide that. Okay, perfect. So let me make this a little bit bigger. So this is my install packet. You can put really anything in here. This one has my loading checklist. So it's going to have my job name. These are all customizable. So I can add anything, remove anything, basically make it how I want it to look. So I've got my loading checklist, specific information for the install activity itself, places to initial off. I've got my signature for my sign off for my customer. I've also included my job issue form. So for that one job that had a job issue, I wanted to include that here for the installer to kind of double check. Picture of my slab, customer drawing. And then I added in just the order information. So if you have CounterGo, you can pull this over the quote, the drawing and the quote that you've selected here, and then just the layout and how the pieces are on the layout. But you can remove this if you don't need to see that, but you can customize these packets. These are super helpful. You don't have to go in and print them one by one. So I didn't know if Kari and Kelley had different packets for their crew or not.
Yeah, we do. We actually have a template packet and an install packet, and it is very helpful, especially with the quickness that you can change things in Moraware, I think, or in Systemize, I think is beneficial to us. We're able to say we have another checkoff list, something comes up and we need people to now all of a sudden record all their fuel or their mileage. Like you can make a change and add a form in there with those packets. And then as new people come on, like not everyone has to remember exactly what gets printed out because they're just clicking the button on there.
Yes.
So it's very helpful. And we take feedback from our installers. If they're saying, well, this page isn't very helpful, then we might have a group of like 3 or 4 get together and like, let's figure out how we can refine it. But the packets are super helpful.
Good. Yeah. A lot of times people don't want to come in here and print each one. So they just create a packet of the things that they need. And that's super helpful. So you can get to that from, like I said, this activity here, or also from the calendar. So if you go to print at the top of the calendar, it's going to ask you down here, you can print from here. So a couple of different ways that you can print those out.
That's usually where I'm printing from, doing the scheduling is I'll get the activity confirmed and then right away I can just click on it, get to the activity set form set and print that out. I don't even really have to go into the actual job
Nice.
information.
Yeah, less clicks. Less clicks, the better.
Yes.
And Angela, there was a question that came in just of like, how do you like add to the packets? So I think
Yeah.
just like a quick show of that.
Yes. Okay. So in your settings, you go to job, you have this activity packet section at the top, and you can create a new activity packet or you can edit an existing one. So let's just, I'll just add to this. So install, this is what I have printing out. And to add, you would go to plus here over to the right, add packet item. And this is where you'll choose what you're going to include in that packet. So if you have CounterGo, you'll see, your order and quote information. You have a job issue form, any images. If you have a CAD file you want to attach to that, you can do that. Specific activity information, any of the job forms you have can be added as well. This is my test database, so it's going to have some random things in there, but just as an example. And then essentially you just assign what activities you want that form to print for. So this is my install packet, so all of mine are going to be for install, but if you have a packet that's not specific to a certain activity, you could, have something that prints for install, fabrication, etc.
It might be helpful to show how those lay out on the actual job, like if you clicked into the job to see where all those forms are.
Yeah. So the forms are here and you can add forms. You could add forms to the job by selecting this plus here, and it will pull from what you have already created within your system. You can also create like a job template. So when you create the job, you can click on like what forms do I want to always pull over when a job is created. And so you're not having to do that manually each time. But this is where the forms live within the job. So you can have them, you can expand them um, and edit them. So I will go over, I'll start looking at the questions. I'll quit sharing my screen and then
For
you
sure.
wanted to,
Thank you. Thank
yeah,
you, Angela.
of
That was
course.
super helpful. Yeah, and was a lot like coming through. So
I'll take a look.
Kari and Kelley, I think that as she like goes through the questions and you kind of like walk through and see all this with everyone, like with the fabricators or just like even just like different members of the, the shop teams that are on this call, what would be pieces of advice that you'd give them if they're either starting out with like trying to just like make their scheduling more efficient, or they're just like trying to kind of, grow their shop in general?
I think for us, last year we focused a lot on improving our processes and actually getting them written down and into a, a PDF that you can refer to, that there's a set way to do things, and this is how we want to do them. Coming from a small shop where our dad was the templater, fabricator, installer, running the business, um, it's easy to get lost in all those details. So having those processes just pulled out of someone's head and written down so that it's be able to be followed by all is key for us. And it's a constant process. It's a lot of work too when you're going through, and basically this business was built from scratch and just morphed over time, and now we're trying to take it to the next level and getting all, everything out of my dad's brain and onto paper is the challenging part. But I think it's very important because your processes and flow is how you run your business, and having it organized in a set way is important, especially when you're growing.
Yeah, and if I can add on to that, I think with using Moraware, the thing that I found very helpful was that you don't have to use every feature all at once. That was super helpful for us. Like we could
Yeah.
just start with the scheduling and then so our biggest goal was to get from all the paper files that everyone used to have sitting around everybody's desks to it's all on the computer and everyone can see the same information. So if somebody changes a sink or a faucet or the date of install, it's all there. It's instantaneous. But the good thing for us is just being able to start with a piece of it and then add in. I mean, we've built more forms, more activity packets. We've gotten more in-depth detailed on things, but it's just a tool and all the information you have in there is available. But it can seem overwhelming if you feel like you have to set up everything all at one time. So we went piece by piece and focused on certain areas, like let's get the scheduling there. Okay, and then we're doing the estimating. Now we'll add in allocating material, stuff like that. So that would be my
Yeah,
suggestion. Don't
for
get
sure.
overwhelmed.
Yes, little
That's
by
a
little.
good suggestion. Very good suggestion. Ryan,
Absolutely.
if we have time for a couple of questions, I'm going to actually share my screen again just because I
Yep.
think a visual would be better for this.
Yep.
Um, so one of the questions that came in was, how do you get the assignee over here on the left-hand side, which is a great question. Um, on the calendar view, if you hit customize, you have this display type here, drop down, and you have a bunch of different options here based on what you want it to look like. So for me, I have the assignee, and then it's got by day. So, but if you wanted to do um, maybe day by assignee, you'll see how this switches over. So you'll have the date here and then the assignee at the top.
Mm.
There is a ton here. I've being in support, I don't see people utilize this as much as I don't think they know it's here really. So a lot of good different options based on what you want to see, and you can save that view, you know, for each person. You know, maybe one person prefers it over another. Um, let's see, what's another one? Week by week. I don't have that much in here because it's my test database, so I don't want to pull something that's not going to make sense. But this is going to be day by display field. This is a little bit, yeah, this might be not the greatest for what we're trying to show you. But essentially, lots of options there. I would suggest, you know, once you have time just to go through and see what it looks like each time you pull it through and see what it looks like. And then you do like it, just remember to save the view as a new view. So you're not going to disrupt the view that you were looking at previously. Just save it as a new view there. So that was one of the questions. And then one of the other questions was if you have the activity color coded, would the assignee color override the activity color? Yes, in the map feature. So in this example, for this view, I have my color activities by assignee. So if I change this to activity type, you'll see it's all installs. So it's all going to be my red for my installers. But if I click on map, it's still going to show me my assignee color codes. It's not going to all turn red. So hopefully that is what you meant. If not, let me know and I can follow up with an email or a call after.
Yeah, and everyone in our shop probably has a different view that they like. Some people view everything, they're used to seeing all the different colors and they'll view everything on one calendar. I'm more like I have my install calendar, my measure calendar. I like to view everything just separately. Um, but yeah, it's nice that you can customize and then you can, if you find a view that you like, you can share that view with another person or you can just keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Your
And there is a
private
way,
view.
I was just going to say, there is a way to set it as a default. So every time you log in, you can just have that view populate. You don't have to go searching for that one view every
Yeah,
time. You can just have it be your view and then switch it as needed.
yes. Yeah, I'm
Awesome.
switching right now, sorry, between like the scheduling, using the calendar for scheduling all the installs and um templating, but also we're starting to use like, okay, as a list of all the drawings that need to get done for the CAD. Here's the list of all the fabrication that's happening this week. We're starting to get more detailed. We've been kind of using it at a higher level and starting to get more detailed as we get more into our processes.
Nice. That's awesome.
It is. Well, this has been super helpful. First of all, Kelly and Kari, thank you for joining us and just, kind of, it really helps to hear from our customers, and you're so gracious with your time because I know that you guys are very busy, but we really appreciate you just like coming in and kind of providing just a lot of this insight. It's really helpful to connect the dots from just both like here's what like you can do in the product, but also like here's like the real world examples of like what's happening.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for
For
having us.
sure. Yeah, I'll just quickly just share my screen just to give like one call out. So in the in Systemize, like you can go on to the side, there's this little like help button that will get you a link to our knowledge base with a lot of articles and videos that can walk you through this. You can also reach out to us and schedule a call. I put the phone number and email here too on the side. So Angela's a part of our support team. So what she was like walking through today, that's very much what a support call would look like, or it could be very specific, like, hey, I'm having trouble with this activity packet. It's not like I'm trying to figure out, like, I think one of the questions, like how to add, um, you know, different things to it. That could be what a support call could look like. So we've got articles, we've got resources, we've got a support team. So even like what Kari and Kelley were saying, sometimes you can kind of start from a certain level, like just like here's like how we want to like use this, and then there's always like ways to kind of like dig in and really customize it to fit your shop. And then I know the other question that came in, this webinar is recorded. We will send that out either by the end of the day or tomorrow, and then you can review that and also review it with your teams. We're going to continue to do more webinars in like the months ahead. So we will be focusing on, especially for like Systemize, like different features. There is a survey at the follow-up after you like close out of this Zoom. So if you do have topics that you're really interested in, please let us know there, just so that we can make sure that we're continuing to provide content and information that's relevant to you all. So thank you, Angela. Thank you, Kari.
Yes.
Thank you, Kelly. Really
Yep.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks everyone for joining.
All right,
Take
thank you.
care.
Thanks.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.